Hi, everyone, and welcome to our program. I'd like to introduce it by asking you whether or not you've really thought about markets from the kind of standpoint that we're talking about. I've given this seminar probably 200 times to literally thousands of people. And they're usually professional, banking professionals, auditors, different types of people. And I'm continually surprised at how surprised they are when we start talking about markets and free markets. I almost feel like a caveman showing them fire for the first time because people tend to be intimidated when they think about markets. I ask someone about markets, they start talking about the stock market. Maybe they bought and sold the stock a couple of times. And they're happy thinking about markets in terms of this financial process that takes place. But in fact, markets are really quite different. Markets are solutions. And the first half of this course goes through the idea of using markets for solutions and how professionals use markets. Markets are tools. Just like you can use a lever to move a heavy weight, markets are used to shift risk, to take risk, to avoid risk, and to understand what kind of a solution a market is and how I think it's superior to other solutions and other types of economies. A free market economy operates as a collective almost. If you really want to understand free market economies, this will do it for you. I urge you to go to a city. New York is my city, so I would think about New York as a possibility. Get off the train and make sure that it happens to be a day that's raining. And don't bring one of these, no umbrella. And you walk out of the street corner and there are people, they're like mushrooms. They pop up on each side of the street corner and they're all waving umbrellas and shouting prices at you. And you think, well, it's raining, they've got the umbrella, I don't have the umbrella, I'm screwed. But it turns out you're not, because somebody on that street corner is shouting an umbrella going $3 and somebody else is shouting going $2.50, and you find yourself getting a reasonable priced umbrella because of the competition that takes place. Now, nobody told those people to get up at whatever, God knows what time they get up in the morning, and travel from the Bronx or wherever else they're coming from with boxes full of umbrellas. They saw the weather report, they saw the box full of umbrellas in the house that they picked up cheap somewhere, and they said, that's supply, and if I go to the street corner of 37th Street and Broadway, that's demand, because that's where the train station is, and people will start coming up out of the train searching for umbrellas. They'll beg me for umbrellas. The only flaw in the logic is there's a lot of people thinking that. And that element of competition is what makes the whole thing work. So you've got literally hundreds, maybe thousands of people that are looking at the weather report and making a calculation about demand and supply. And they show up on a street corner and start to sell their wares. I'd like you to contrast that with a policy decision made by the city of New York. The mayor says, you know what? Looks like everybody gets sick after we have a big rainstorm. And I don't want this city sick. So for everybody's welfare, we're going to have a program where we're going to provide umbrellas, we're going to sell umbrellas every time it rains. Great. He's going to go out, he's going to hire some czar at God knows how much, $200,000 a year to administer this program. They'll strategically pick a bunch of street corners that they think will work. They'll go out and buy umbrellas, probably from the mayor's nephew or somebody's uncle, and they'll get a box full of umbrellas to put in those corners, and then they'll try to figure out how to price the umbrellas. And they don't really care whether they sell one umbrella or 50,000, because people in the stores don't care. But if you go on the corner of 37th and Broadway and you find that little guy who came in from the Bronx with his box, when the sky starts to clear up about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they'll say, I'll make you a deal. You can have this for $2. Take it home. Because he doesn't want to schlep these umbrellas back to the Bronx. He's liquidating his merchandise. He's making an on-the-spot adjustment based on how demand is drifting away. You think the mayor's group is going to do that? No, not likely. They could care less. They'll come in the next day, they're going to get paid, they'll open the door. If they sell an umbrella, great. If they don't, that's okay too. So that's the difference between hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people, making supply-demand calculations and showing up because it's in their best interest and taking a risk on the umbrellas they bought and whether or not they're going to be able to sell them. The mayor's people are not taking any risks. The city is taking the risk. The taxpayer is taking the risk. Nobody seems to care about their risk. They're going to show up, and maybe they will sell umbrellas, maybe they don't. And at the end of the year, maybe some enterprising reporter will do a little research and find out that the umbrella program that the mayor developed cost the city $500,000. Whereas all of those people making individual decisions on their own, being free to choose what street corner they want to be, how much they want to sell, whether or not they can make those decisions on the spot, that's a far superior solution. So I would suggest to you that if you read in the paper that the mayor is going to establish an umbrella program for every day it rains, do yourself a favor. Bring one of these to New York. I hope you enjoy the program, and I look forward to getting you to understand markets from a totally different perspective. Thanks very much.